Thank you for that introduction, and thanks everyone for coming. My name is Rita, Orji, and I'm from the Housing University, and I did this work with Lennart, Nacke, and Gustavo Tondello from the University of Waterloo. So, I would want to take it up with two contradicting comments from two participants in our study. Getting and losing points would motivate me to try hard, stay alert, and focus on the goal. The moment I get punished for something, I would stop using the application. So in this talk, I will be showing you that one size does not fit all when it comes to designing persuasive gameful systems to motivate behavior change. But instead, that tailoring this system to match the target user type would increase their efficacy at motivating the desired behavior change. And to achieve that, I will try to answer the question, is there a value in tailoring persuasive gameful systems to the gamification user types? As we know, playing digital games is the most common leisure time activities in our today's society. For example, 99% of adolescent boys and 94% of adolescent girls play digital games regularly. As a result, we are witnessing an increase in the application of games and gameful mechanics for purposes other than entertainment. Persuasive gameful systems are designed for the primary purpose of motivating people to adopt behaviors and actions that are beneficial to them and their communities. And studies have shown that this kind of persuasive gameful system can be effective at motivating desired behaviors change. As a result, several of such gameful systems has been developed. A typical example is an Earthquake adventure, which is a persuasive gameful system to impact knowledge about the consequences of alcohol and alcohol consumption, and hence discourage risky drinking behaviors. So the main problem with persuasive gameful system to date is that they adopt a one-size-fits-all approach in their design, and research has shown that a design strategy that matches one kind of user may actually discourage behavior for a different types. For example, a game that uses leaderboard to show high score may actually encourage a competitive player, but may discourage others who do not thrive in competitive environments. So, tailoring persuasive gameful systems to a specific type of user may be a good thing, but we need to actually consider who do we tailor and what do we tailor actually. First, let me answer what we tailor. There are many ways that persuasive gameful system can be tailored. However, in this study, we considered how we can actually tailor the system by tailoring the strategies employed in their design. And according to the persuasive system design framework, these are the 10 commonly employed strategies in persuasive gameful systems design: the competition, cooperation, punishment, reward, simulation, and personalization. Secondly, we also need to consider who we tailor it for. And research on individual differences has shown that people differ in many ways. Therefore, it is inappropriate to treat them as a single group. Several attempts have been made into classifying individuals into various user types. The hazard gamification user type is the first user topology that is specifically developed for studying user preferences in gameful systems. The disruptors are motivated by the triggering of change and like to test system boundaries. Free spirits are motivated by autonomy, and achievers are motivated by competence. Players are motivated by extrinsic rewards. Socializers are motivated by relatedness. Philanthropists are motivated by purpose. So in this study, we want to examine ways that persuasive gameful systems can be tailored to the hazard gamification user types by answering the question, is there value in tailoring persuasive gameful system to the hazard gamification user types? And to answer the research question, we developed prototype applications illustrating individual strategies in the context of persuasive gameful systems for motivating change in risky alcohol drinking behavior. And here is a sample storyboard illustrating the punishment strategy. So we conducted a large-scale study on 543 participants recruited online to ascertain the persuasiveness of the strategies. I will use validated scale to measure both the persuasiveness of the strategies and the gamification user type of our participants. Using the data collected, we simultaneously modeled the relationship between the hazard gamification user type and the 10 persuasive strategies, as can be seen. The model revealed important strategies that persuasive gameful system designers should focus on when designing systems targeting each user type. If the strategies motivate the user types differently, then we should see differences in the persuasiveness of the strategies for the user types. And this is the result from our modeling. Let me briefly explain what the results mean. The columns represent the 10 strategies that we have seen, and the rows represent the result for each of the gamification user types separately. The numbers in the cells represent standardized beta coefficients, and if there is a statistically significant effect, then you will see a number in the cell. A higher number actually indicates higher weighing. For example, the value of 0.32 here shows that punishing people who are high in socializer tendencies would actually motivate them to perform the desired behavior. That means that things like making socializers lose points or valuable items while using an application would actually motivate them. An empty cell here indicates that punishment would not motivate people high in free spirit tendencies to perform the behavior. And finally, a negative value indicates that punishment would actually demotivate disruptors. So what does this result show? The big news is that there are statistically significant differences between the gamer types, the gamification user types with respect to the persuasiveness of the strategies. In general, the user types are motivated by different strategies. So generally, punishment would motivate behavior for people high in socializer and player tendencies. And this is a very interesting result, considering that punishment as a persuasive strategy has generated a lot of debates. Many argue that punishing people for not performing behavior may make them by making them lose points or other valuable items would demotivate them from performing the behavior. However, our result shows that punishment can actually motivate behavior for socializers and user type of people. Some of the reasons for the preference of punishment by socializers and players, according to our qualitative comments, are that punishment reinforces behavior, makes people work hard, and keeps them alert and focused. For example, according to a participant number 100, and I quote, "Penalty will make me stay alert and focused on the goals." On the other hand, punishment would demotivate behavior for disruptors and would do nothing for philanthropists, achievers, and free spirit type of people. Some of the reasons for the low preference for punishment by people high in disruptors, philanthropists, free spirit, and achievers includes the tendency of punishment to frustrate, discourage, and lead to depression. For example, according to participant 43, and I quote, "I think the punishment would make me feel worse about myself and not encourage me to do best next time." In general, socializers and players emerge as the user type that are most motivated by persuasive strategies overall. Socializers are positively associated with all the strategies, while players are positively associated with 5 out of 10 strategies. On the other hand, Disruptors and achievers emerged as the least responsive user types, with disruptors being negatively associated with most of the strategies, while achievers showed no significant relation with any of the strategies. Our findings have a number of implications for designing persuasive gameful systems to appeal to a broad audience and for tailoring to users with specific user types. We describe most of them in our papers. I will encourage you to check it out, and I will give only a few examples here in the interest of time. For example, our finding shows that in general, competition is the most persuasive of the strategies. It appeals to 3 out of the 6 user types: players, socializers, and disruptors, and does not negatively influence any user type negatively. So we recommend that to appeal to a broad audience, persuasive gameful system designers should provide a mechanism that allows people to compete to perform the desired behavior. We listed some of the game mechanisms that can be used to operationalize this kind of competition and other strategies in the gameful system design in our paper. Again, there are many ways that our results can be applied in tailoring persuasive gameful system to a specific type of users. For example, our finding shows that simulation is the only strategy that is positively associated with people high in philanthropist tendencies. Therefore, we recommend that when designing to specifically appeal to people who are high in philanthropist tendencies, persuasive gameful system designers should employ simulation strategy to show the choice and consequences linkage of their behaviors and the projected outcome of their individual health behaviors. Similarly, our finding shows that personalization is the only strategy that appeals to people who are high in free spirit tendencies. Therefore, we recommend that when designing to specifically appeal to people who are high in free spirit tendencies, designers should tailor the system content and functionalities using system-controlled tailoring as opposed to user-controlled tailoring. Again, our findings reveal that socializers, disruptors, and players are the 3 hazard user types that predict most of the variability in the effectiveness of persuasive strategies. Therefore, we recommend that to achieve user type-driven tailoring, it is necessary to at least differentiate participants based on these 3 user types. And finally, our qualitative comments reveal that the common weaknesses of the socially oriented strategies, competition. This is hanging. Sorry, this is hanging. Sure what's going on, but
it's probably frozen. Help is on the way. Just try go ahead.
Try unplugging.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah.
I think it's coming up right now. Sorry for that. Technical issues. Okay. Just to let you know. So similarly, our findings shows that personalization is the only strategy that appeals to people high in free spirit tendencies. Therefore, we suggest that when designing to specifically appeal to people who are high in free spirit tendencies, designers should tailor the system using the system content and functionalities using system controlled tailoring as opposed to user controlled tailoring. Again, our findings reveal that socializers, disruptors, and players are the three hazard user type that predicts most of the variability in the effectiveness of persuasive strategies. Therefore, we recommend that to achieve user type driven tailoring, designers should differentiate participants based on these three user types, at least. And finally, our qualitative comments shows that the socially oriented strategies, competition, comparison, and cooperation has the tendency of promoting body shaming and interfering with individuals' privacy as one of its weaknesses. Therefore, we recommend that care should be taken when employing competition, cooperation, and social comparison in any design to avoid promoting application-induced body shaming. Designer could include mechanisms that allow users to use nicknames or abstract behavior performance as opposed to showing actual behavior data. For example, showing behavior performance as a percentage of an individual's behavior goal might be a good abstraction to showing the actual behavior. As part of our future work, we are interested in validating our results in other persuasive gameful system application domains. And we're also interested in developing and evaluating persuasive gameful systems for promoting health behavior tailored using our guideline. So takeaway message from this talk is that anyone designing persuasive gameful applications should remember that one size does not fit all, but instead that tailoring these applications to match the target user type would increase their efficacy at promoting the desired behavior change. And our work offers some design guidelines for achieving this user type driven tailoring and some qualitative comments in support of these findings. You can check out our papers. Many thanks to the following people for funding our work, and thank you all for sticking around. I welcome your comments and questions.
Thank you very much, Rita. And we have time for 2 questions. Please go ahead.
Hi, Stuart from the University of Lyon. I'd like to come back, just sort of one quick question about the results.
Sure.
Something that I found quite interesting was that the achiever subtype didn't seem to be motivated by rewards at all. Do you have any sort of thinking or reasoning why that could be? I mean, did you try multiple types of rewards, like badges and point systems, or was it just one type? Or
Okay, thank you. That's an interesting question. It was actually a very surprising result to us as well. One explanation is just what you have said. We actually, in our implementation, we chose one common type of a reward system, which is the most common one used in gameful system points and some demonstration of badges, but no variety of reward. That might be one explanation to that. The second one might be that there are other strategies, because we only investigated 10 right here. There are other strategies that could appeal to achievers that we've not studied. So, of course, it's an open research area that people can go ahead and find other strategies that may appeal to achievers better. I was thinking it's going to work with reward, but it didn't. Partly maybe because of the implementation, or so we've not been able to find strategies that actually work well for achiever in the current study. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Ali Arya from Carleton University. My question may be slightly out of the scope of your actual paper, but something for future to consider. So when we were thinking about punishment as something that was successful in getting people motivated, considering all of the discussion around punishment and negative reinforcement and things like that, could it be that the punishment had some short-term effect in getting them motivated and alert, but has long-term problems and shouldn't actually be used? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I wasn't actually thinking that punishment was going to work, but it was surprising, and trying to understand why it did. Of course, in our own case, I would say, at least in the short term, I wouldn't speak on its efficacy for a long-term sustenance of behavior, but at least for a short time, and we dig deep to understanding why it actually do work for some people, why some people fancy it, right? So many people see it as a feedback that is capable of reinforcing behaviors, keeping them at alert and like focus on their goal. Some people really saw it as positive. So I think that punishment is one of those strategies that when it is working for people, it is working. For people it doesn't work for, it is purely negative. So it's one of the strategies that people got to be careful when using it. For people that it actually works for, they really do like it. For others that it doesn't work for, it's a no-go area. But at the same time, it might be that it might work on a short term, but might not sustain over a long term. That is something worth investigating in the future research. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, it's not a question. I'm Gustavo talking about. So, just to comment on your question too. I think what's interesting in these studies that we asked about persuasiveness, right? So, user type model was based on enjoyment. So it's different to say that achiever people like to interact with a system that has rewards. It's different to say that they will actually be persuaded to change their behavior. That's what we asked here. So I think that's one very interesting result from this paper. That even if people like the system, it might not be effective in actually making them change their behavior. So that's what we need to investigate here. And we can only speculate because we didn't test, but I can speculate that probably other types of rewards that are more elaborated would work, because just simply giving points for a behavior might not be challenging enough. So if the reward system was actually more challenging, it might work better. But it's work for future investigation.
Thank you. That's a nice one. Thanks, Gustavo.
Okay, let's thank Rita and all of our speakers one more time.